Hello, Mr. Ed here. Today is March 9th, 2019. Yeah, I'm over right behind the honey house right now, and I'm fixing to go work the bees out in the yard. What am I going to be doing today? Well, today, this is no hive, it's just a demonstration. Today I'm going to go ahead and be putting in our double screen dividing boards. Alright, so what is a double screen dividing board and what are they used for? So a double screen dividing board is simply a device that I use when I make my splits. And there's many ways to do splits. I found for me the easiest way to do it is to place a double screen dividing board between my two hive bodies. And by placing the screen between two hive bodies, it in essence creates two hives. But to really get that, to make it to work correctly, the bees cannot touch each other. So they won't touch each other. We put screen on both sides of the board. And so this is the screen boards that I make. I have the 1/8 inch hardware cloth on one side and then just a regular mosquito screen on the other side. And also we have, let me show you, there's an area cut out right here which becomes an entrance. Now, what I do when I set my screen board in there is I'll remove the top box, set it on the side, simply place my double screen dividing board on top of this box with the entrance facing the opposite way of where the entrance is presently. And so what that does is that again further strengthens the fact that these are two separate hives, and that the bees in this box, their entrance is in the rear, and the bees in this box, their entrance is in the front. And generally, most cases, our queen is going to be in this top box. So what I do is I place the screen board on the box, and then 10 days later, 7 to 10 days later, depending on the weather, I'll go in there and I'll remove the top box and start looking in this bottom box to see if I have cells, queen cells. Now what they're going to do is they're going to form emergency cells. And the emergency cells are queen cells that the bees produce when they realize that they have no longer a queen. And so they produce these cells on the face of the screen, of the frames, not on the bottom. If the cells are on the bottom, they're swarm cells. And the whole idea of placing these screen dividing boards between our boxes is to prevent swarms. That's all we're doing. We're preventing a swarm. Instead of pulling our bees out of a tree, we're just going and making our own split. We're catching a swarm even before it happens. So that's really the purpose of the swarm board. And the reason why I'm starting this today I usually start this probably within another week or two, but our weather is so changed right now that it's sped everything up. And yesterday, which was the 8th, I pulled 4 swarms out of trees here at the Abbey. In fact, before the end of this video, I'll show you the 4 swarms. They're already, 3 of them are in nukes, and one of them, it was so large, I had to put it in a 10 frame box. So what I'm going to do today is just go around to the hives and split them and drop in a double screen dividing board. Now, because it is so late and the bees have already swarmed, I am going to be checking for swarm cells. And the way I check for swarm cells is I just look underneath the bottom. I don't pull the frames out. I just look under the bottom and I look at the frames, and you can see if the swarm cells are under there. And if there are swarm cells under there, I'm going to take my tie tool and I'm going to scrape those cells off of there. And I know that's not a lot of practice that people would do, but for me, that's the way I do it. I'm not worried. I don't want swarm cells. I want superseding cells or emergency cells. That's what I want. I don't want to have swarms, because when that cell is on the bottom, that's a swarm cell and they're going to swarm out, and I do not want the bees to swarm. And what happens, I'll come back in 7 days and I'll make sure that I have a queen cell in this bottom box. And once I make sure that queen is in this, a queen cell has developed in that bottom box, then we'll take my top box, which has the queen, and move it off the hive. And that's all it is. That's the way I do my splits. I don't go through frame by frame. I try to make it as easy as I can. And like I said, I look for the swarm cells at this point. That's really about all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead out in the field and I'll show you how I do that out in the field and see how we can get this thing done. It's fixing to rain, and I know it's not the best time to do this, but I really don't have a choice, being that our bees are already starting to swarm. So by the grace of God, I'll get a bunch of these things in our hives today before that rain comes. Let's go wrangle and set some double screen dividing boards in our boxes. This is 3 of the 4 swarms that I caught yesterday. And I just have them setting up here right here. This is all temporary. These guys are not staying here, but I couldn't leave them out in the field either. So I brought them back here. And this hive right here, this little swarm right here, that one, that box is so full, it's just packed full of bees. So that one is going to get set into a 10 frame box sometime during the week. But the other two, those two, they have probably 4 good frames of bees on it. So they've got a little growing room to go. And so I'm not as much pressed for them to get into a 10 frame yet. When I get out into that field, I'll show you the last one out there. And here's the 4th swarm that I caught yesterday. Put it in this box right here. So I don't want to be pulling very many swarms out of trees. I'd rather do our splits. It's not surprising. I forgot to mention a few things about the double screen dividing board. And like the first one would be is when do you actually place it in between the hives? So what happens if you don't have enough bees in the top box to be able to do your split at that time? So how do you make that determination? So for me, I judge it by how many bees I see in that top box. If I've got 6 frames of bees in this top box, I'm going to put my double screen dividing board. That's how I determine it. And then the other part is when I told you that I take the top box off, what I do now that I've got these new screen boards right here, they're made out of plastic, and these were acting as a double screen dividing board. But when I move this hive off of this stand right here and place it on another stand, this double screen dividing board will then become my permanent screen board. It's already got the hardware cloth, and the bottom, even if the bottom deteriorates, it doesn't matter because the top part is all that really counts. The screen, the hard 1/8" hardware cloth on top of here. All right, so let's go ahead and open these girls up. It's overcast. I opened 2 of them already and they did not like it. So let's go ahead and see how these girls are. And I already can tell there's going to be plenty enough bees on here just from the bees underneath this cover. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames of bees on here. 8 frames of bees. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this box, I'm going to set it on my stand right here and flip it over on the side. And the reason I'm going to flip it on the bottom, on the side, is because I want to look and make sure I do not have any swarm cells that have already developed. The 2 boxes I already did, they both had swarm cells in them. So I'm going to have to check each one of those. So I'll check this one, and then I'll take the bottom box, also flip it on its side, look, make sure I don't have any swarm cells under there, and then I'll put the double screen dividing board in. Oh, this thing is heavy. So now I'm going to go ahead and look for the swarm cells on the bottom of it. And this one's, they've got the cups starting to develop on it. And yes, there is a swarm cell on this. So I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to show you this stuff right here. Yeah, there you go, folks. we have a fully developed cell right here. It's capped and it's ready to go. Here's one that's being, and that's one being drawn out right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one off of here and make sure I have no more in there, and then I'll flip over the other side, the other box, make sure there's none in there as well. Check this out. After I scrape that off, look at this. Look at the royal. Let's see if I can get it in focus. Look at the royal jelly in there. Woohoo! I don't see an egg in there yet. Alright, so let's go ahead and flip this one up on its side and see if it's got any cells in it. Probably help if I separate the bottom. Alright, there's no development of swarm cells here, so we're good. Place it right back on our stand. Now we're going to put our double screen dividing board in, and here's our entrance right here. Of course, our entrance is right here. We're going to place this to the rear of this. And now we're going to go ahead and set our top box on top of that. Now another thing I failed to mention, by having our entrance in the back as opposed to the front, all the field bees that are in this box, they know that their entrance to this hive is right here. So what happens is any field bees that are in this top box right here, when they fly out of this box from this entrance right here, they don't set their GPSs. They fly out this entrance, go do their business, go gather some pollen, some nectar, and come back. And you know when they come back, you know where they're going to go? They're going to go into this hole right here, because that's the hole they know. So what happens is the number of bees in this box decreases, and the number of bees in this box increases. So when we do our final split, hopefully the box that has the queen in it has the fewest amount of bees in it, which again prevents, in a sense, or discourages the hive to swarm, because there's not a lot of bees. So that's another good aspect of doing a split with your entrance on the back side. All right, and there it is. We're going ahead and put in our double screen dividing board with our entrance in the back, scraped our swarm cells, and this hive is done. And now I'm ready to do the other 99 of them. So thanks for watching. Keep on watching. I'll be making more. God bless. Mr. Ed. I'm out of here until the next video. Well guys, it's only been a week and I've already got people sending in their pictures of the swarms they've caught. And this week I'm going to show you 3 of them. 2 of them are from local guys, and actually they're in our bee club, so I know they're legit. And then of course the third one, it is questionable because that one's from the rooster, but that one's in here too. And then of course I'm going to add the 4 that I caught also during this week time. So here we go with the first entries of the annual swarm catch competition. Oh man, look at this. We're at the beehive house. And check this out, folks. All right. Now I've got 6 traps set under here now. And look at this. That one's got a swarm in it. That one's got a swarm in it. Now I'm at the garage over here in Mandeville, and got 4 traps set here. On the other side of the fence right here is where we caught our first one, and I moved that one up to the Abbey already. So we got one right here, and then we got another one right here as well. So we've caught 2 out of the 4 traps that are set here. So that's 2 at the beehive house and 2 at the garage in Mandeville.